In this world, morality bends to power. History doesn't remember who played fair. It remembers who won. Sin is a luxury for those who can afford to fail. But if you want to rise, to conquer, to build something beyond ordinary existence, you must understand one truth: victory cleans the stain. The phrase, "sin is just strategy, Lord, bill me after victory," isn't blasphemy, it's realism. The world forgives success. It crucifies the weak. Every empire, every titan, every visionary you admire once crossed a line someone else was too afraid to approach. The difference? They calculated their sins and turned them into leverage. You can spend your life obeying invisible moral fences, or you can take control, knowing that every risk you take is a move on the chessboard of power. So, before you judge, ask yourself, does the outcome justify the action? If it does, commit the act. The world worships results, not intentions. Morality is not a universal law. It's a moving target. What's wrong in one era becomes visionary in another. What's condemned in public gets celebrated behind closed doors. The truth is, morality is written by whoever holds the pen, and power owns the ink. You've been taught to follow rules, to play fair, to be good. But ask yourself, good according to whom? The same society that tells you not to be selfish celebrates billionaires who crush competition. The same system that glorifies kindness rewards ruthlessness in silence. Morality shifts depending on perspective, timing, and outcome. The strong define it, the weak obey it. If you want to rise, you must stop viewing morality as absolute truth and start seeing it as social negotiation. You don't have to be evil, you just have to be strategic. Every time you hold back from doing what's necessary because you fear judgment, someone else without that fear takes your place. You lose not because you were unworthy, but because you hesitated. Morality, when used wrongly, becomes a chain. It keeps you comfortable, predictable, and safe, exactly where the system wants you. But progress has never been made by the cautious. It's made by the defiant, those who are willing to commit the necessary sin to rewrite the rules. So what does this mean for you? It means you must think like a general, not a priest. Before every decision, weigh cost versus consequence. Don't ask, is this right? Ask, does this serve the mission? If the benefit outweighs the backlash, do it. Let them call you immoral while you build your empire. The noise fades once success arrives. Understand this, the world doesn't reward morality, it rewards effectiveness. When your strategy works, your critics rewrite your story. They call it bold, visionary, even inspired. When it fails, they call it sin. So your goal is simple: don't fail. Morality is fluid. What's unforgivable today becomes admirable tomorrow, once it's attached to power, money, or legacy. So if the profit is greater than the punishment, commit the crime, strategically, silently, without regret. Because in this world, the moral are remembered for what they didn't do, while the strategic are remembered for what they dared to do. The world does not remember the sinner, it remembers the victor. Once you win, every questionable act becomes a necessary move. Every betrayal becomes strategy. Every manipulation becomes genius. Victory is the most powerful detergent. It washes away everything. History proves it again and again. Winston Churchill ordered the firebombing of Dresden, killing tens of thousands of civilians. By moral standards, it was horrific. But when the war was over, he wasn't labeled a monster. He was celebrated as a savior. Because he won. Had he lost, the same act would have earned him a trial at The Hague. Victory rewrote the narrative. That's the brutal truth most people can't accept. Morality is flexible, but success is final. When you win, You earn the right to define what was right. The ledger of good and evil gets edited by the hand of power. The world forgives what works. It crucifies what fails. Now, think about your own life. How many times have you stopped yourself from doing what needed to be done because you feared being judged? You wanted to stay honorable, liked, or seen as good. Meanwhile, someone with less fear, less hesitation, took the opportunity that was meant for you. They bent the rules, twisted perception, and walked away with everything you hesitated to claim. This is what it means when we say victory rewrites the ledger. Once you achieve undeniable results, nobody questions your methods. People align with winners, not saints. The same crowd that once doubted you will rewrite their memory of who you are. They'll say, "I always knew you'd make it." No one remembers the means, they only remember the result. So stop trying to be understood in the middle of your rise. You owe explanations to no one. Be silent. Be deliberate. Let your success be your confession and your forgiveness. If the action leads to victory, history will call it strategy. If it fails, they'll call it sin. So win. Always win. Because once you do, the world changes its vocabulary. Aggressive becomes ambitious. Cold becomes calculated. Unethical becomes effective. You don't have to defend your methods, only your results. The moral of this? Never beg for approval while you're building your empire. Let your triumph be your justification. When the smoke clears and you're standing on the throne, no one will ask how you did it, they'll ask how you can teach them to do the same. Ethics are designed to keep ordinary people in check, not to guide those destined to lead. The general does not stop to debate morality in the middle of a war. He moves, strikes, and conquers. The auditor sits afterward, reviewing what was right or wrong. But by then, the war is already over, and the general's flag is already flying high. That's the difference between those who lead and those who follow. The leader breaks patterns. The follower obeys them. You must decide who you want to be. Because if you want to build something extraordinary, you can't always move within the boundaries of comfort or convention. The world rewards those who dare to act while others hesitate. Think about it. When was the last time a great empire was built by playing nice? When was the last time someone became powerful by asking for permission? The ones who changed history didn't wait for moral clearance. They took action, calculated the cost, and accepted the blood on their hands as part of the price. Now listen, I'm not telling you to become cruel. I'm telling you to become strategic. There's a difference. Cruelty is chaos. Strategy is control. If your ambition threatens to be choked by rules that were designed to keep you small, learn how to bend them, quietly, efficiently, and without remorse. Because here's the truth, the people who will judge you for being unethical are the same people who secretly wish they had your courage. They'll talk about principles while you're making moves. They'll analyze your methods while you're cashing in results. And once you succeed, they'll change their tone. They'll call you disciplined, visionary, unstoppable. That's the hypocrisy of society. It hates what it cannot imitate. So, stop trying to be the hero in everyone's story. Heroes die for honor. Generals live for victory. You can't afford to let morality slow your execution. In this life, hesitation is the real sin. The clock is ticking, the board is shifting, and those who hesitate become footnotes in the story of those who didn't. Let this be your rule of movement. Think like a general, not an auditor. Focus on what wins the war, not what looks clean on paper. Plan your moves in silence, act with precision, and let your success justify your path. The world only respects those who deliver outcomes, not excuses. If the profit outweighs the penalty, make the move. If the consequence is survivable but the reward is transformative, commit the act. Every empire began with someone crossing a forbidden line. Every throne was built on a foundation of calculated defiance. So the next time you're faced with a decision between being good and being effective, remember this. The general who hesitates dies moral but forgotten. The one who acts becomes immortal. Here's where fantasy ends and reality begins. Everyone talks about ambition, but few are ready to stain their hands for it. You want to win? Then stop pretending that greatness comes clean. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy was built on at least one necessary sin. Sit down today and write 3 things you've been afraid to do, not because they're wrong, but because they'll make others uncomfortable. The rules you've been told to never break? The doors you were warned not to open? That's your battlefield. Maybe it's walking away from loyalty that's keeping you poor. Maybe it's cutting ties with someone you've outgrown. Maybe it's manipulating a system that was never designed for you to win. Whatever it is, name it. Own it. And if the reward is 10 times the risk, then pick one and execute. Here's the harsh truth. The universe doesn't reward restraint, it rewards movement. The meek inherit nothing but excuses. The bold inherit the earth. You can pray for opportunity, or you can move like you've already been blessed with it. Stop waiting for divine approval. Sometimes, your boldness is the approval. You owe it to yourself to test your limits, to play on the edge where others are too afraid to step. Because that's where transformation lives. That's where the stories of conquerors are written. So don't ask, is this moral? Ask, is this worth it? Don't whisper, will people understand? Ask, will they remember? And when you finally make the move, make it like a general, cold, precise, unapologetic. Because when the smoke clears, the world won't care how you won. Only that you did. Victory has no conscience. It doesn't ask whether you were kind, merciful, or pure. It only asks one question, did you win? The saints write scriptures, the conquerors write history. And history, my friend, never cross-examines morality, it crowns the survivor. The world was not built by the righteous. It was built by those ruthless enough to claim what they believed was theirs. Rockefeller crushed competition until he owned oil. Caesar crossed the Rubicon knowing it would make him an outlaw. Churchill turned cities into ash, and they called it strategy. Each of them knew the same secret: the end cleanses the means. You've been told to play fair, to wait your turn, to pray before you move. But in the arena of life, mercy is a delayed tactic. While you hesitate, someone else is writing their name on what could have been yours. So, here's your truth. Sin in this world is only defined by those who lose. The victor's actions become principles. The loser's actions become crimes. So stop asking for permission to be powerful. The moment you decide to act, the heavens adjust their judgment. If you must be the villain in someone's story to win your own war, then so be it. Because when the smoke clears and the dust settles, only 2 types of people remain: the forgiven and the forgotten. And forgiveness, in this life, is often reserved for the ones who conquer first. So sharpen your intent. Move without apology. Let your results be your redemption. Because when you finally stand on the mountain of your own making, the world won't ask if you sinned. It will bow and call you great.